In the chronicles of history, few forces have shaped the destinies of nations quite like the cryptic words of oracles. These mystical figures, revered as mouthpieces of the gods, held the power to guide kings, inspire armies, and alter the course of entire civilizations. But what happens when a single prophecy becomes the catalyst for a nation's rise or fall? A land where myth and reality intertwined, and where the whispers of the gods echoed through sacred temples. Here in the shadow of Mount Parnassus stood Delphi, the navel of the world and home to the most famous oracle of all time. But what made these oracles so powerful? Why did mighty rulers and humble citizens alike traverse treacherous terrains to seek their counsel? Imagine a world without the certainties we take for granted today. No weather forecasts, no economic projections, no opinion polls. In this world, the future was a dark, unknowable void. And in that darkness, the oracles were a beacon of divine light. From matters of state to personal dilemmas, Greeks turned to oracles for guidance. Should we go to war? Will our crops flourish? Is it wise to form this alliance? The oracle's words were seen not as mere advice, but as glimpses into a predetermined future, a future decreed by the gods themselves. But among all the oracles, one stood supreme, the Oracle of Delphi. Housed in the temple of Apollo, this oracle was consulted on matters that would shape the very fabric of the ancient world. At the heart of the temple sat the Pythia, the high priestess of Apollo. Perched on a golden tripod, she would inhale sacred vapors and enter a trance-like state, channeling the voice of Apollo himself. But here's where our story takes an intriguing turn, for it was through the Pythia's lips that a prophecy was uttered. A prophecy that would seal the fate of an entire nation and reshape the balance of power in the ancient world. The year was 547 BCE. The place, the opulent court of Lydia in what is now modern-day Turkey. Enter King Croesus, ruler of Lydia and a man of legendary wealth. His kingdom stood at a crossroads, facing the looming threat of the expanding Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great. Croesus, like many rulers before him, turned to the Oracle of Delphi for guidance. The question that burned in his mind was simple, yet momentous. Should he attack the Persian Empire? Messengers were dispatched to Delphi, bearing rich gifts for the temple. The journey was long and perilous, but the stakes could not have been higher. The future of Lydia hung in the balance. Finally, the fateful day arrived. The Pythia, enveloped in sacred vapors, delivered her prophecy. Pythia, if Croesus goes to war, he will destroy a great empire. These words, seemingly clear and promising, would set in motion a chain of events that would alter the course of history. But here's the twist, a twist that underscores the dangerous game of interpreting divine prophecies. How did Croesus interpret these words? What assumptions did he make? Croesus, filled with confidence, assumed the empire to be destroyed would be that of Persia. After all, wasn't he, Croesus, the wealthiest and most powerful ruler of his time? Surely the gods favored him. Emboldened by what he saw as divine approval, Croesus launched his attack on the Persian Empire. He crossed the Halys River, the boundary between Lydia and Persian territory, certain of victory. But fate, and perhaps the true meaning of the prophecy, had other plans. The war was short and decisive, but not in the way Croesus had imagined. In a stunning reversal of fortune, it was Croesus who was defeated. The Lydian army was routed, and Cyrus the Great stood victorious. The great empire destroyed was not Persia, it was Lydia itself. As Croesus stood in chains before Cyrus, the true meaning of the prophecy became crystal clear. He had indeed destroyed a great empire, his own. But what can we learn from this tale? How did a single prophecy, just a few words uttered by a priestess in a distant temple, change the fate of an entire nation? The fall of Lydia marked a seismic shift in the balance of power in the ancient world. The wealthy kingdom, once a buffer between the Greek world and the Persian Empire, was no more. The Persians now stood at the doorstep of Greece itself, setting the stage for the famous Greco-Persian wars that would follow. But the repercussions went beyond mere territorial changes. The fall of Lydia sent shockwaves through the ancient world, demonstrating the power of the rising Persian Empire and forever changing the political landscape of the region. Moreover, this event sparked profound philosophical debates among the Greeks. Questions about fate, free will, and the nature of divine prophecy became hot topics of discussion. How could the gods allow such misinterpretation? Was Croesus's downfall inevitable, or was it the result of his own hubris? Scholar 1. The case of Croesus and the Delphic Oracle raises fascinating questions about the nature of prophecy in the ancient world. Was the oracle deliberately ambiguous, or did Croesus simply hear what he wanted to hear? Scholar 2. It's a classic example of confirmation bias. Croesus interpreted the prophecy in a way that confirmed his pre-existing beliefs and desires. It's a very human trait that we can still observe today. Indeed, the story of Croesus serves as a cautionary tale, not just for ancient rulers, but for all of us. It highlights the dangers of overconfidence, the pitfalls of confirmation bias, and the importance of considering alternative interpretations. Even in our modern world, leaders grapple with uncertainty, seeking guidance from advisors, polls, and projections. While we may no longer consult oracles, the fundamental human desire to peek into the future remains unchanged. But perhaps the most profound lesson from this tale is the reminder of the fragility of power. Croesus, once the wealthiest man in the world, lost everything because of a misinterpreted prophecy. It's a stark reminder that even the mightiest can fall, often due to their own actions and interpretations. As we stand here among the ruins of Delphi, we're reminded of the enduring impact of this ancient site. For centuries, its oracles shaped the decisions that molded the ancient world. The story of Croesus is just one of many where the words uttered here changed the course of history. But what if Croesus had interpreted the prophecy differently? What if he had considered that the great empire might be his own? How might history have unfolded differently? These questions resonate deeply, reminding us that interpretation, decision-making, and fate remain intertwined in our modern world. The story of Croesus illustrates a timeless truth. Our actions, shaped by our understanding and beliefs, can profoundly impact not only our personal lives, but also the trajectory of entire societies. As we navigate an uncertain future, we must consider, what are our modern-day oracles? Perhaps they are economic forecasts, scientific predictions, or political analyses. How do we choose which voices to heed? And how do our biases influence our interpretations? In an age of information overload, the ability to critically evaluate and interpret the signs around us is more crucial than ever. We must remain vigilant against the trap of confirmation bias, always considering alternative viewpoints. By doing so, we can make more informed decisions, potentially avoiding the pitfalls that befell Croesus and shaping a better future for ourselves and our communities. The Oracle of Delphi may be silent now, but its lessons echo through the ages, reminding us of the profound impact our interpretations and decisions can have on the world around us. In the end, perhaps the true oracle lies within each of us, in our capacity for wisdom, our ability to consider multiple perspectives, and our courage to face an unknowable future.